Hi, hello, and welcome to Same But Different. My name's Brody. I'm here with my brother and my co-host Derek.
What's up?
And we are here to talk to you this week about the new horror movie Immaculate.
Ooh. Sydney Sweeney.
You know her, you love her for some reason, and here we are.
I'm going to try, I'm really bad at this because I just start speaking and words come out, but I'm going to try to remain spoiler free.
I love spoilers.
And the first thing that I want to say is that I am so glad that this movie is not at all what I expected it to be. The trailers and the tone of the movie, even halfway through the movie, I was expecting it to be one movie, like a Rosemary's Baby type of movie, right? And that's all I'm going to say to that. But it ended up being, there's a little bit of a unique twist to it where I was like, oh, I'm glad it went this route instead of the old cliche horror movie route that we always get. The cinematography in this film was breathtaking. And not like it's wide landscapes or anamorphic, crazy scenery, but it was beautiful. It was largely due to the fact that it was filmed in Italy and the Italian architecture and art just aided in the Gothic European creepiness of the whole thing. But
Italian.
Man, it was so cool. Some of the wide shots that we got in the basements and into the churches, and some shots that just looked like Renaissance paintings themselves. And I really liked it for that. Good job to the cinematographer.
Good job, Robert.
Do you know that?
Not a clue.
Okay. The horror elements of this film were indeed scary. At one point, I turned to Victoria and I was like, wow, I'm glad I'm watching a horror movie. You know, there are a couple horror movies that we watched recently that were just kind of like, I don't know, not scary or just gore fests. This was more of a slow burn, a creepy factor, an atmospheric tone. But that being said, it wasn't entirely a horror movie. It was horrific. And there were some pretty nasty scenes in this film. But I would argue that it's 50-50. It's like a horror and then there's definitely thriller elements to it. To answer my own question about Sydney Sweeney, wow, she was a force in this movie. I thought she carried this film. It's right up into the very end where she's screaming. That was crazy. It was a passion project for her, and I think you could see that. Judging by your silence, I feel like this is going to be a same but different episode.
I'm just listening, man. I'm just taking it in. I'm just absorbing.
There's a part of me that absolutely loved this ending. But then there's a part of me that just wanted to see everything.
Yeah.
A lot of this ending, they play with the horror aspect of what you can't see is scarier than what you can see. A part of me loved that. The credits rolled and I was like, that was fucking dope. But then there's a little part of me that's like, I really wanted to see what was ever making those sounds. And I'm not making any spoilers here, but man, I really wanted to see it. That's kind of like a half gripe, but I only have one full gripe. It's a story element, and that's when, and this, I'm getting into a little bit of spoiler territory here because I can't fully explain it without going into it. Spoiler. If you haven't seen the movie, go watch it.
Spoiler alert.
She watches her friend, who rebelled against the church at one point. She watches her friend through the peephole, through the keyhole. She watches her friend get her tongue chopped off. To me, that's like, we got her. She's never going to speak out against us again. She'll learn her lesson, and she'll never be able to tell anybody what happened here. That's what you do. You cut people's tongues out to solve that issue. And then at the end of the movie, she just finds her dead in the catacombs. Why would you go through the process of cutting out somebody's tongue if you're just going to kill them later and dispose of them? That doesn't make any sense. And that was the only part in the movie where I piped up and I was like, that's stupid. I hate that. Everything else I really enjoyed. I enjoyed my time in that world. I gave this movie a solid, for a horror movie, solid 7.5. I would be convinced to give it an 8 out of 10. Oh no, you hated it.
Wow. An 8?
I would be convinced to push it to an 8, yeah.
Who's convincing you? You get to make the choice. I feel like this movie tried very hard to be edgy and dark and twisted. By trying so hard, all of it felt very forced, therefore made it fall pretty flat to me.
Okay.
I think there were some really good, gory, hard to watch scenes and things like that, but I feel like they were so forced. The movie almost didn't warrant it having that gore and violence in it sometimes, that it just felt like it was trying too hard to be something that it wasn't.
I'm trying so hard.
By being a slow burn and trying to suck you into this world and then just like blasting some crazy violence in your face just didn't land for me. It just was the wrong move, I think. And then that being said, if they wanted to go violent and gory, they should have really, really just committed to it, because you get some scenes, but it's often just like teasing brutality, which just felt like more of the same. Like nothing in this movie I haven't seen elsewhere.
Seen something like it before.
Cinematography was great, and I really liked the soundtrack as well. Score,
Oh,
rather.
yes, that too.
The driving force behind this movie was meant to be Sydney Sweeney's natural likability, because her as a nun almost seems wrong casting, but I think that's the point, and you're supposed to like jump into her mind and her world and like the journey she's on because of that. As someone who doesn't like her that much, she doesn't have a natural likability to me, so it didn't work.
What about her is bothering you so much, though? That's my question. Like,
I just don't think she can act.
Can't seem to fucking
No,
comprehend.
what you don't understand, Nate, is I am crazier.
That's not something to be proud of, Cassie.
No, but it is something you should be scared of. And
what? Okay.
And all of her drawn out reactions of panic and screaming, at first I was like, okay, cool, she's pretty good at reacting to this stuff. And then that's like 50% of what this movie was just her wide-eyed, scared, panicked and screaming.
What?
And they always zoomed in on her face. And
What'd you expect her? How did you expect her to react in these situations, though?
at some point it stopped being acting and it just got boring. And by the end scene that was supposed to be this huge gripping, 2-minute shot of her screaming, I was like, this is not even acting, she's just screaming at a camera.
Okay.
There were aspects that I did like I talked about, cinematography, the score. I really, this is where it gets a little iffy too. I really liked that this movie didn't rely on jump scares. But Derek.
Oh my god. Why does there need to be a but?
Because the caveat to that is when you don't rely on jump scares, you want the jump scares you do have to land, and these didn't.
What?
Every jump scare in this movie was just do a big soundtrack boom or something. Like, that's not scary anymore. There were some scary moments that weren't jump scares, like with the lamp and the person standing in her doorway, I thought was the scariest part of the movie. They also suffered from not explaining the plot, as you kind of went into with her friend. There were heavy implications all around about what was going on, but there was no hard development to the plot or the characters. And maybe if you have knowledge into this world and why they're doing what I don't think they actually do stuff like this, but maybe there's something in history that would get you more up to speed on what's going on. But like, explain why they're branding these people. Explain how, spoilers,
Spoiler alert.
explain how she got a little baby demon Jesus clone inside of her. Those are the things that make this movie the most interesting, so I don't want them to be implied. I would have much rather had explanations about it. It would have intrigued me more.
I disagree.
Okay.
It was enough for him to wheel her through like their little laboratory and be like, this is what we do. There didn't need to be like, and this is how we exactly did it inside your uterus. You just draw that conclusion yourself.
You also can't get DNA off something that's 2,000 years old, I don't think.
Yeah, but Jurassic Park did it, so
Okay. All right.
like,
Okay.
why not? Like, why not?
Sorry,
It's the
I forgot we were
movies.
comparing this movie to Jurassic Park.
We aren't. I'm just saying movies with a scientific explanation can get away with some things.
Life finds a way.
I think the movie lost its momentum about 10 minutes in. And then it became just a hot mess. I think it was boring. I think it was uninteresting. I think nobody in this movie could act. I was just livid at dragging out a very obvious ending for 20 minutes. Like she's some kind of final girl. Felt like the antithesis of the rest of this movie. It was off-putting.
I'm baffled.
So I did not enjoy this movie. I gave it a 3 out of 10.
3? Brody, no way. There's no way that this movie deserves that low. That's fucking crazy, dude. There's no way. Nowhere in my mind were you giving it less than a 5.
That's what we thought. That's what we thought of Immaculate. Very same but different here. Derek seemingly loved it. I seemingly less than loved it. Have you seen Immaculate? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Let us know in the comments down below. And while you're down there, you should just follow and like and subscribe, because those things help us go the distance here, and we want to keep doing this because we have fun doing it. Clearly, we love arguing.
Yeah, and I need an army of people to argue against you. Please, please come to my aid.
What videos do we have out that we get armies in the comments? Except for pink flamingos.
One day.
Next week, we are going to review The Fall Guy, the new Ryan Gosling, Emily Blunt movie, and hopefully it's better than a 3 out of 10. Thank you so much for being here. We love you. Keep watching movies.
Psychotic.